finish, you're going to give the person a few minutes to just kind of come back in this relaxed state.
Knowledge teaches us that you are not ordinary human being, you are not limited by time, space, condition, but in your divine nature, you are the bliss of all the causes, all the
And I was teaching secular teachings, personal development, personal growth.
Repudiated all connections with organized religions and ideologies and said that his only concern was to set men absolutely, unconditionally free.
Hello, I'm Daniel French and welcome to Healing Mind Body. Today we're at the Hollywood Temple with the minister, Swami Sarvadevananda, and we're talking about Vedanta and how you came to Vedanta. And thank you for having us.
It's my pleasure to be this morning with you. My name is Swami Sarvadevananda. This is a Sanskrit name which means Sarva means all, Deva is gods, Ananda is the bliss. That means it is the ancient Vedic knowledge which teaches us that you are not ordinary human being, you are not limited by time, space, condition, but in your divine nature, you are the bliss of all the gods, all the joy of the universe. So this comes when one monk joins the order and spends about 10-12 years, and then after that experience of pure bliss, experience of life, then they are ordained into this monastery vows. So this I came and I joined in this order about 1965, and then when we joined we had to also get trained about spiritual life and about the scriptures, about the purpose of life, about how we are. Of course, everyone comes here with this quest. What is the meaning of life? Why we are here? Or where we are heading on? And if we can achieve anything in this life, and what is that achievement? So those who come here, they take this Vedic idea, which is the ancient wisdom, that this life is temporary, as we see, but is it all that we are born, that we will die one day, and do some activities in this world? Is it all? Then there is a question. No, it is not. And the ancient sages taught us that no, this life is a part. There is something behind and something in coming in future. So, but there is one life, it is eternal life, that life of blissfulness, absolute joy, absolute happiness. And we can find that joy in this life by leading a well-thought life. If we can plan our life and actually explore into our inner reality, who we are behind this body, the functioning of mind, behind the mind, who functions, behind our understanding, what is that which say I, behind that I, who is the consciousness. So exploring this way, we can really touch the ground of our very being, and that being is eternal, that is unchangeable, that is equal for me, that is equal for you. So we are not aware of that, only we have to be aware of it. That's why Swami Vivekananda, who came in this country in 1893, he brought this message of the ancient Vedic time, that each soul is potentially divine. Not that we are sinners. We do mistakes, but that doesn't matter. Rather, through the mistakes we learn. So our teaching is that we are divine by our nature, but in this situation, something has happened, my ignorance, my not knowing about myself, thinking myself too much limited, and we behave like an ordinary person. Some people move in different direction, not knowing what their divine nature is. So, what the whole purpose of life should be to unfold. Swami Vivekananda said, we are potentially divine, but we have to unfold our divinity. There is no distinction between a man or a man and a woman. Everyone is divine, and the divinity, the manifestation of divinity makes the difference between one and the other. So, this tradition of ours, this teaches us to see God in others, to see God in here, God there. That's why our twin ideal on which this monastic organization is based, it teaches us that for the liberation of one's own self and for the good of the many. So our life should be like, which will be giving to others peace, happiness, and one should dive into that peace and happiness inside. So the life of meditation, discrimination, loving God, loving the Lord's children, this bringing this harmony in life, one can achieve the highest goal. And in our tradition there was Sri Ramakrishna, who in 1836 was born in a rabbi family in the remote village area. He has no formal education of school, but he from the very childhood cried for God. And he wanted to say that, oh, I hear God is there. And he used to worship first God as Divine Mother. And he said that, oh, Mother, you are there. You have given vision to so many people. I am an ordinary child of yours. I didn't know, I didn't read any scripture, I didn't know anything. But if you are there, would you please come before me, come to your vision. And cried and wept. And then ultimately one day he saw a vision of Mother. When he was going to kill himself, thinking that this life is meaningless, if I don't see the divine, what is the meaning of life? That time he was going to kill himself. And at that time he found that from the Divine Mother's image, a beautiful wave of light started coming from his being, her being. And that engulfed him, and he was totally under that sway, and he lost his outer consciousness. And he expressed his experience that a flood of light came, and waves of light, it is like the ocean of light, and I was drowned into that light and consciousness. In that way he lived that day and next day, and is totally unaware of the physical consciousness. So he had his experience continued for such a length of time. So in this process he first worshipped God as Divine Mother. Then he prayed to Mother. So many people call him in so many names. Some call Shiva, some call Rama, some call Krishna, some call this. Oh Mother, please show me how they worship. So he then gradually practiced all the different ways as a devout Vaishnava, lovers of Krishna will follow. And by that process he had the vision of Krishna. Then in the process of Rama, we got the vision of Rama, Sita, Mother Sita. And all the tantric procedures which throughout the ages Indian saints and sages have practiced. And in following that path, he ultimately came to the same experience of infinite consciousness and light and joy. And not only that, in Hindu path, he also practiced in the path of Islam. And 3 days he practiced Islam, like a devout Islam, praying 5 times and doing all the rituals as they do, and calling upon Allah, Allah, Allah. And he had the vision of Muhammad. And he practiced in the path of Christianity, and he listened to the Bible, and then he saw Christ as the baby Christ in mother's lap. And with that vision he got lost. And in this way, In his one singular life, the idea of harmony of all religion is manifested. Now, after 9/11, we see how much important is this to love and respect every religion and love and respect everyone's path. At the same time, not to convert anyone, but to be deep in their own, profound in their spiritual practice. So, Sri Ramakrishna is an example of harmony. And the band of young boys who came around Ramakrishna, amongst them is Swami Vivekananda at the time, and he started this organization. So this organization teaches only the harmony of religions. Actually, it is an interfaith coalition, we can say, where we love and respect every religion and ask everyone to love God in their own way and be profound in their spiritual practice, not try to convert others, not to convert himself, but let him move in his own faith and be sincere. So this comes not from Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna rediscovered this truth. In the ancient time, it comes from Vedas. In the Vedas we find that this message has been given. The truth is one, and the person, and sages call them in various names. Ekam Sat, Vipraha, Bahudha, Vadanti. The sages call this truth in different names, but truth is but one. And that experience was there in the Upanishadic time. And Upanishads are the crest jewel of Indian spirituality. You know, there are 4 Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva. And in these Vedas are divided into 2 segments. One is the first, the ritualistic activity, which we ordinary people always like to do something physical, to offer some oblation, to pray, to do something for our physical needs even, our day-to-day needs. In early days they used to think that this whole world is controlled by God and God's power. And they used to think that they are behind this sun. It is not the material sun. There is one consciousness behind it. And they used to worship the sun as consciousness. They used to worship the cloud and the rain. There is one God for rain. That means the consciousness behind the material rain. So that is the beauty of the Indian idea about spirituality, that God is pervaded everywhere. People misunderstand and sometimes say that the Hindus are polytheists. That's a very, very ignorant thought, because Hindus do not go and approach a piece of stone and say, "Oh stone, I love you." As suppose a Christian does not go to the church and stand before the cross and they say, "Oh, piece of wood in the form of cross, I salute before you." They don't say. They feel the presence of God here. So, symbolism is a part of spiritual journey. Without symbolic worship, we cannot go to God, the Absolute. In every temple you go, every church you go, everywhere there is a symbolic representation of God. The Catholic Church, you go to Protestant Church, anywhere, that's called the Lord's house. Why do we call Lord's house? It's the house. But we think the presence of God. So Hindus, from the very ancient time, because the Hindu society was guided by these saints and sages who are realized people, they taught us to eat spiritually, to sleep spiritually, to marry spiritually, to die spiritually, to do everything in a spiritual way. And how is that? And they used to teach, okay, you are a human being, you eat, you cannot eat yourself, you have to feed others also. So, when you eat, you think that what you are eating, you are not eating the food. If you are a devotee, you think that you are offering the food, the Lord is in your heart. You are offering the food to the Lord who is in you. So bringing the ordinary food into the idea of offering to God. That's the beauty of Hindu religion. You are serving anyone, thinking, no, I am not serving the man or the woman, not the husband, not the wife, but I am serving the Atman, the self, who is the conscious being in everyone. Hindu marriage, what a great idea. Of course, in every marriage system there are noble ideas. But Hindu marriage system says that it is not that man is married to the woman. No. The soul is married to the soul. And the loving relationship, they have said, the husband does not love the wife because of the wife, but because of the self, or the Atman, or the consciousness in the wife. Wife does not love the husband because of the husband, but wife loves the husband because in the husband's body and mind, behind them, is the consciousness, is the soul there. That's why Hindu marriage teaches us to connect soul to soul, heart to heart. One internal attitude that I see God in the husband, you say, I see God in you, I adore you, I love you, and that love becomes profound. And the wife will think see the same thing. So Indian society has been trained in this way to see God. Even the secular activity what we do, our Vedanta teaches that nothing secular, everything is spiritual. And Swami Vivekananda brought this Vedic wisdom to the modern time. And that is called Vedanta. Why Vedanta? Vedanta towards the beginning it was the ritualistic activity. Even people want to go to heaven, they do pious activities. But there are, at the end, they came to know that we want absolute joy. To get to that point of absolute joy, we cannot limit our journey in any place. Even you go to heaven. In Indian ideal, heaven is a temporary thing. You go there and have some joy and fun because of your good action bearing the fruit, like going to Hawaii. And then enjoying that, when your turn will go over, you have to come back to life again to act in your own way. So this is the cycle, but ultimately Upanishads or Vedanta is called Anta. Anta means end of the Vedas. And why it says the culmination of Vedanta, the Vedic wisdom. What is that? Seeing God everywhere. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. Everything in this universe, visible universe, what you see, it is all God, it is all divine. So that Vedanta is the message of this tradition in which I belong. This is called Ramakrishna order in India, and we call here Vedanta society. The idea is that it says, Vedanta teaches us, that spirituality is not limited to any caste, any creed, any woman, man, any sect, any religion. It is universal. Everyone, all of us are heading towards that absolute knowledge. Through right or wrong paths, we are all going. Even people, those who are, say, stealing, those who are thieves, what they want, Vedanta teaches us. What they want? They want joy. They want peace. They think that by stealing they will get enough money and will be happy. Vedanta teaches, we search for happiness. This is called God, searching for God. But they do not know where real happiness will come, so they take some wrong direction. But when it is directed in the proper way, then that will bring the perfect happiness, perfect joy. How?
Say you work with people like this, or you have family like this, you love them, they could be your parents, or it could be sibling or a friend, and they just, they don't understand. You realize it, but you don't get them to at least come meet you halfway, or at least to see where they're hurting themselves or hurting others. Where do you just give up, or?
No, we will say that give these values, that our all relationship is based upon the idea of the presence of God. So long the Lord's presence is here, I am talking. Otherwise it will be dead body. You cannot be angry with another person unless you see there is the presence of some conscious entity behind it. And modern science is also telling the same thing, that behind matter, there is no matter at all. Everything is some energy. Everything is in a constant state of movement and flux. So, should we love the changing or should we love the unchanging? So, day-to-day relationship, as you have just raised this question. Yes, we have our friends and relatives. They may not understand it. But we need not have to proselytize anyone. You be happy. You understand. You love some person. You are a wise person. You think in Vedantic way. I love this person because in the heart of this person is my beloved. My soul is there. I am there. Go one step forward. Vedanta teaches, I am here, I am here. I am the trees, in the plants, in the soil. In every being, I am there. I am not this little ego, but it's the expanded dimension which is called God. So, to see God and to love everyone, even someone does not understand that, it matters little. But God is still present there. A person who is doing very heinous, sinful activity, he is functioning because of the presence of the divine there. But you may say, why then he is doing something wrong? Because Vedanta teaches, it is their mind, their ignorance, because of their ignorance. And ignorance creates confused ideas. When in our relationship also you find that when one is ignorant about others' activities, then confusion comes, doubt comes, and distrust comes, and gradual separation. But when they sit together and discuss and clarify their points, both are understand each other's situation, then they again come close. So ignorance, Vedanta teaches, ignorance is the cause of all suffering. And ignorance creates some such mood in our mind that we don't see things right. As we gave the example in the twilight, when we are walking, there may be one snake, one rope, and we ignorantly think that, oh, some snake has bitten me, and I may cry and weep. But when you bring the light, then you see, oh, it was the rope all the time. So it is God, God, God everywhere. Even if someone is worshipping in any way, because God is everywhere, God can be worshipped in infinite way. God is infinite, so He can be worshipped in infinite ways also. So, this Vedanta teaches us that we are not to go and give up everything and go to a forest to live this Vedantic life. Vedanta life can be best utilized in every phase of life. You are a married person, you love your wife to the deepest sense, as you can go deep into it by not on the superficial, but you think that you are loving the essence of your wife who is God. And wife will love you in the same way. So this love will be so intense that nothing can separate that love. And that, there comes the unity, there comes the harmony. And that harmony is already there. Suppose you are living in your home. You clean your room. You think that it is Lord's house, I am cleaning. So this same what we are doing, thinking I am doing for myself, that can be deified. Vedanta teaches, deify everything. Your human love can be divine love. Deify it. Bring God in between. Your possession of wealth, your possession of your house, just deify it. It is Lord's house. You do whatever you are doing. You sleep in that room, you cook in that room. When you are cooking, you think that I am cooking for the Lord. And we are taking the sacramental food after offering to the Lord. So the same eating, the same doing, the same cleaning. But see, as we do in the temple, we do so much cleaning there. We think that we are doing very holy activity there. But why don't you bring that concept in your home? Vedanta teaches, bring that concept in your home. Cleaning, sweeping, cooking, even taking a shower. Why don't you think that this is the temple of Lord? We can think that this is the body. But this body, nobody will bathe this body anymore when the consciousness will leave. Is it not? They will call the mortuary people to take this body for cremation. Is it not? But who is that inside? So long it is there. So we go to the temple, there is the altar, and the deity we call this is the temple. So here also the altar is here. And that consciousness is in me, in you. So long we are talking. So if this consciousness remains, or the Lord remains in our heart, is not this a temple? So take care of the body. Give this sufficient food, nourishment, whatever is needed. It is nothing wrong. So people have a very bad conception that to go, to realize God, you will have to ignore everything. Yes, ignore everything in a materialistic sense, but accept everything in a spiritual sense. You accept the ordinary good dress, good jewelry, good things, everything, but you think, I am decorating the temple of the Lord. So what is your inner spiritual attitude? That makes a total difference. And Vedanta teaches that, bring that spirituality into day-to-day life. You eat spiritually, you sleep spiritually, you talk spiritually, you keep your eyes, see everything, try to see something, some consciousness at the background of it. Let me give a little idea how we can see consciousness behind everything. As I have just told a very little thing, that in our awakened state, when we are now talking, see how our eyes are working, our senses are working, and all our mind is also active. This, when I am talking, seeing something, this sensation is carried to the brain cell, to the nerves, up to the brain cell. This is a physical thing going on. But only eyes do not see. Your mind should be attached to it. If the mind is not attached to this experience of what the brain cell is reporting, I will not see. People sometimes look like vacant look. They are seeing but not seeing. That means mind is not here, mind is somewhere. So behind the body we find that there is a function of the mind. And mind, behind the mind, there is the function of our understanding. Mind cannot decide, I shall do this or do that. Cannot understand that. Intellect decides, yes, this is good, I shall do this. So behind that intellect, it is called, we have our ego sense. That's this little ego sense, which I will do, I will see, I will eat, I will meditate, I will whatever. And up to this comes the Vedantic understanding that the 5 layers, body layer, the energy layer, then prana, then comes the mind layer, then comes the buddhi layer, or the intellect level, and then comes the ego layer. But even this ego cannot see unless there is a light behind. That is the blissful thing. So, in our awakened state, look at this, that the blissful state is functioning now. Otherwise I cannot listen to you, I cannot talk to you, I cannot understand anything. So all these things are working, functioning in the awakened state. Now let us think we are going to sleep. When you go to dream, what happens? We forget our body identity. We don't know anymore that I am in the body. But in our dream, we see things, we act, we enact. That is called the subtle body. We have this is the gross body, that is the subtle body. So in that subtle body, you see, we have our eyes, we have our this everything, and also our perception is there, our mind is functioning. In the dream, if we find that one person is coming with a dagger, we run in the other way. Isn't it?
That's a good reaction.
Good reaction. So that means their mind is functioning. Our understanding, intellect is also functioning. Oh, somebody is coming to kill me, let me go the other way. Huh? And then my ego, I am to save myself, otherwise I will be killed. That is also functioning. But see, even at the back of that light is there. Otherwise, who lights our dreams? This light is off when you go to bed, external lights are all put off. But still, we see the light, we see everything. Which is the light? Who puts that light? This is called the light of the self. It's getting reflected through the mind and ego and all these things. That's why this universe of dream is visible. So this gives us one understanding that behind this visible universe, there is that conscious light behind. Behind the dream world, there is this conscious self light behind. And now let us go to when we go to deep sleep. See, deep sleep we say we do not know anything. Actually, when we are fast asleep, we do not know when it rained, when somebody knocked at me, who came to call me. Perhaps I was deep sleep, I didn't hear. We say that I do not know. I was fast asleep. But you know, to say this, that I do not know, somebody you know this much that you do not know. Who knows then? Who can say? We are sitting here, if somebody tells me, oh, who is going through that? Then I say, I do not know. To know that I do not know, that is a knowledge. If I say that I do not know, that is also a knowledge. Knowledge of a thing in a negative way. So, in the deep sleep state, this also confirms that this witness consciousness, this consciousness is still there. Otherwise, who will observe that I do not know? It is called the observer and the observed. Who observes this, he is eternal. He is always with you, always with me. That is called consciousness. That is called God. That is called the reality. And what is observed? Observed is the ego, observed is the mind, observed is the body, observed is the outside. So, in this process we can analyze, Vedanta teaches us to analyze that you are not this body. You give up this body sometimes in your dream. Give up in the sense you disidentify. Even in the dream you give up your dream body also. Then you go to sleep. That time you totally forget everything. But still there is a light in you who is shining. That's why God is all the time awake. He is all the time conscious. So if we bring this awareness into our day-to-day activity, that I am not the body only. Body is one small part of my whole personality. My mind is also a little part of that personality. But what is me? It is infinite. It is all the time there. It never dies. It never is born. That's why that is the idea of Vedanta. That your Atman never dies and never it is born. It is all the time there. It is eternal. And our purpose of life is to touch that ground. If we touch that ground, that will give us eternal joy. But how? You see, every day we work hard. You have worked 12 hours, 13 hours. Then you go to sleep. And then you dream sometime. And you have a good sleep. The good sleep, scientifically good sleep comes for a few seconds or something. But would you feel that how with the touch of few seconds, you feel so much refreshed? If food could give us strength, suppose a man who has worked 13, 14 hours, tired totally, let him feed well. He doesn't get the energy back. But if he is put to sleep, and for a few seconds can go to deep sleep, he is a fresh energy person. So the energy comes from the source, which is the Atman, which is called the self. So this is the major idea that God living, that is called Atman, that is all the time there. If we touch that ground, then everything will be perfect. Then there comes the question of meditation. How to go there. That's why it comes your martial art. There it comes the need of your yoga and all these things. Because you need a good, strong, healthy body.
What do you think of yoga that's being taught now, or what's most people don't understand the different paths of yoga, bhakti?
Yeah. The yoga normally in this country it has been understood mostly physical exercises. Because yoga is a process by which you come down your pranayama also, the breathing makes the body very calm. And also yoga practices does physical good because the internal organs gets very strong by the type of yoga. But yoga, real yoga is union with God. Yoga is a word Sanskrit which means union with God. So Hatha yoga is only one part of the eightfold paths of yoga. So normally it is good that people do some yoga, but they should not end there. Yoga should give a good health because when we really practice spiritual discipline, then when we touch God, that time a tremendous spiritual current will flow through the body. These ordinary nerves, they are incapable of handling. That's why everyday prayer, everyday meditation and yoga practice, all these should be coupled together. That's why Patanjali, the ancient psychologist, who is called Patanjali Yoga, he has mentioned that you have to practice some self-restraint, so that you are calm, you are quiet, you handle the situation better, you lead purity outside, purity in the mind, don't injure anybody. These are the basic characters. On those basis, then they say, yama, niyama, then asana. Then he said that to do that asana comes in the Hatha yoga part. Then you keep your body strong so that you can sit for a long time and have a stable body. Asana pranayama, then do little breathing exercise which makes the rhythmic thing, everything in the body. When we are angry, you see how our breathing will be irregular. So when the breathing is regulated, that will give us better quietness of the body. And now the whole purpose is that use that mind in focusing inside pranayama. So niyama, asana, pranayama, and then dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So the goal is to samadhi. Samadhi is the perfect union with the divinity. But we cannot do that, therefore we have to sometimes sit down and think that here is the divine. And that divine is the source of all my activity, all my thought, all my action. So this is the holding the mind in one point, that is called dharana. So that comes afterwards. And holding that, even we cannot do that because mind moves here and there, because mind has its own tendencies, its likes and dislikes. So when I am trying to think of something holy, my mind is drawn to different directions. Then that is a training. No, mind, let's come back now to my meditation. That is another stage, that is called dharana, dhyana. Trying to hold it back, that's called dharana. And then mind holds there, that's called dhyana. And if the dhyana is little deeper, our meditation is little deeper, then it takes us to illumination. This is called samadhi. So samadhi is actually the ultimate yoga. But it starts from the very basic ground. That's why yoga practice is good, martial art is good because you have to sometimes protect yourself. And also you have a good body, flexible body, so that you can enjoy a good healthy life. So this is the holistic part of yoga. And actual yoga is union with God. And that union may be done according to one's own spiritual attitude. Some may be a little devotional type, say emotional type. Vedanta will say, okay, divert your emotion into love for God. So that is called the bhakti yoga, or devotion. So in that emotion you add, you think that you are connected with God, you are doing for God, every action that you are for Him. So bring God into that twist of emotion towards God. And then you are maybe some person may be very rational minded, wants to understand the thing intellectually and then try to accept. Okay, let that energy be utilized as discrimination. Okay, what I want? Shall I love the temporary thing or changing thing, or I like to have something which is permanent or eternal? And you analyze what is permanent, what is impermanent. Even modern science particle physics, it says that in the if 1 second is divided into 10 to the power minus 12 of a second, that means 1 second divided by 1 and you put 12 zeros. That much fraction of a second. They say in the molecular level, in the subatomic level, one particle is changing from one to the other. That means in the gross universe you see everything is changing. We are changing. Every day we are becoming old. If a baby born, baby is growing to adult and like that age. The tree is becoming old. The house is becoming disintegrated every day. It is a change. Our hairs are growing, our eyes, our cells are dying, new cells are formed. And also our mind, look at our mind is changing all the time. Today I think this is good, tomorrow I feel bad, today my mind is happy, tomorrow my mind is unhappy. So we cannot trust on mind, we cannot trust on body, but we can trust on something which is the ground of this body, mind, intellect, ego. So they try to analyze what is permanent is the consciousness or the self within. So this is the path of knowledge. And that means they don't give up everything, but they live in the world, but with an open eye, they discriminate that everything is changing, but there is something unchanging. And I belong to that unchanging reality. So they meditate into that unchanging reality. The meditation is the practice. Some maybe made a little meditative type. So one meditates means one thinks of the divine. So that is very natural. If someone loves to meditate, someone may go to the forest or some beach and they like to just be quiet and calm. So those temperaments can be utilized to meditate and focus on God. Maybe with form, like Hindus worship Rama, Krishna, avatars, incarnations, or Saraswati, Durga, Kali, different divine images of the goddesses, or they can focus on, as Christians think, God is infinite, but He has equality. He loves us, He creates us, He listens to our prayer. Or someone may meditate on God without form, without name, without limit, absolute, like thinking that absolute is like infinite sky.
Like a Buddha?
Buddha actually didn't focus on something, but he discriminated what is unreal. He threw away everything unreal. That was his procedure. And when that unreal things all go, then what will remain? The reality will remain.
How would you know when you're illuminated?
Illumination or in spiritual life growth depends on your joy. You will find more and more joy inside, more and more peaceful inside. That is your sign. And actually you are illumined, then you will find the mystery of the world is all open up to you. You know there is no, you have your past, you have your future, the body, but you are there, you are here, you are in the afterlife. You will find that you are there in the trees, you are in the plants. Like the Saint Patrick, he used to say, Christ in the front, Christ in the back, Christ on the right, Christ on the left. So see, he sees Christ everywhere. Ramakrishna, the 19th century saint, who I talked about, he saw the cat is moving. He's saying, oh mother, are you coming? Okay, wait. So looking at the cat, we look at the cat as cat. But in the vision of a realized soul, it is divine. One day Holy Mother was the wife of Sri Ramakrishna. When he was, an ant was crawling on the ground and some of her niece was trying to kill. They said, don't kill. There is the Lord. There is the Lord's hand, Lord's feet, Lord's eyes, Lord's... See, so in their eyes of illumination, the whole world becomes full of joy, full of peace. And they find that God is working everywhere. The same reality as is within me, the same reality. And that's why their love becomes profound. They become really limitless, and their love, their connection becomes so deep that they see the whole world as their own. That is the culmination of wisdom. Thank you.
Swamiji, we're
Yeah,
so
thank
blessed
you.
to have you on the show. Seriously, thank you so much for having us. And if people wanted to get a hold of you, or come for retreats or talks, I know you give talks here, and classes, it'd be Vedanta.org.
In hand, Vedanta.org, or they can call in our phone 323-465-7114, and they can make an appointment if they have any questions, or they to attend to the lectures. They can get to the website. Every Sunday there is a lecture. Almost every evening we have some programs here. Someday some scriptures, someday devotional scripture, someday Vedantic scripture. So so much of services are going on. Anyone is welcome, and we don't charge for anything. They only come, and there is no preparation that you cannot come to this class or you cannot go to that class. Everyone is open to any of the classes, and then anyone can choose their own way, which they like most, they can join.
Thank you so much for being here, Jesse Christian. I think that was excellent. This is Daniel at movingmybody.com. Call us if you have any questions. Thank you. I was going to ask you the chant before you eat. What does that mean?
That mantra, it says it is from the Gita. Gita is the one of the Hindu texts in scripture, and Gita is the essence of all the Upanishadic ideas. So in Gita it is said, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Hari Om Tat Sat. The meaning is that everything is pervaded by Brahman. Brahman, the absolute consciousness I was talking about. So when you are eating it is just bringing some example of the ancient time when they used to perform some sacrificial fire. So when they used to put the fire on, and in that fire they will offer some oblation, like the clarified buttermilk. So here it is, when you are eating food, they are thinking Brahma Arpanam. Arpanam means the hand through which you are, Arpanam means the ladle. So this hand is as it is a ladle. So you take the food with a fork or something, then you are eating. So this hand, everything is Brahman. This is Brahman. Don't look at it as a physical hand. So Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havi, the food you are taking. Don't think it is food, but it is Brahman. It is the consciousness. It is that absolute reality in that form. In ignorance you see as food. Brahma Havi, that Brahma Agno, Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Agno. And you are offering it to the fire in the stomach, which is also Agni, the fire, and that is actually Brahman itself. Brahmanahutam. And when you offer this, afterwards it is consumed in the body as energy. That is also the consuming power, that is also Brahman. And if one person thinks in this way, eating food in every aspect, then he becomes Brahman. Thinking of Brahman all the time this way, the person becomes Brahman. That means you become aware of the consciousness. You become one with it. Eating of food is one. Even seeing something to the eyes can be compared like that. Whatever you see, that is Brahman. Whatever you are taking in through the eyes, that is Brahman. Whatever your mind is absorbing, that is Brahman. And ultimately, your mind is filled with consciousness of God. And that is called the end. That means at the end, you realize God. At the end, you realize, you become like that, Brahman. So it is there to deify every action into our spiritual consciousness.
So it has nothing to do with we're vegetarian or not, or the controversy of that.
No, it matters little. As regards vegetarianism, and that's a big deal. We don't subscribe any such idea. We think that whatever makes your body needs, whatever makes your body strong and healthy, and whatever helps you to love God more, to help you to meditate more, that type of food is good for
As long as it brings sattva, that's balance.
Spiritual life and balance.
That is fine. Thank you so much for coming here, very informative. All right.
Before are you in need? I've got this nonprofit corporation, Temple University, and
Hi, I'm Daniel French, and welcome to Stick Moves. The purpose...
Feel whatever he gives you, okay? And I react to what he gives me. Okay? I don't have to think about it.
But for now, I just wanted to use it as illustrative purposes to show you how.